Hello, hello. I don't know if anyone is here. I waited until late to post. And hi, Linda. Can you see and hear? Hi, Laura K. I'm still waiting to find out if you guys can see and hear. Okay, cool. Stream is good, audio is good. It's not, what do you call that? It's not echoing, is it? It sounds to me in my head like it's echoing in here. I know, I want that little menu closed. Oh, I probably should have not turned the autofocus off until I started recording. Let me try turning it on, see if that, and then off again, see if that helps. Okay. No echo. Okay, cool. Awesome. Alrighty. I'm only going to just do an hour or so, excuse me, here on YouTube. I'm not gonna do the Patreon thing. I will every Saturday, but since this is kind of like a makeup day, I'm just gonna do, you know what? I think my speakers are on. Yep, that's the echo. Oh, I'm surprised it was working at all and not giving you guys like a bunch of feedback. Hi, Gina. Anyway, yeah, the echo's gone now. I have a visitor here in the studio tonight, Bella. I don't know if you guys remember Bella, but anyway, she's Ashy and Sophia's sister. And she's not feeling well today, so I have her in the little, you know, like sick room cage. And she's been complaining about it, but she's quiet right now. But I wasn't sure if I started talking, if she would start meowing back at me, like, let me out of here, lady. Alright, so I figured I would walk through. I kept working at the, using up the tchotchkes. So what did I do with my box? Hang on. Whoops. Breaking things. So it doesn't look like I got much, does it? I got rid of all the postcards. I used them. I used a bunch of the brads. I used a few of the things that were with the sparkles. A couple of other things. I used some of these little inchies from the inchy swap. I still have a bunch of brads left, and they're like mostly different colors. Like these are red and pink. And these are two different colors of purple and lavender. So I think I'll do something special with these, and I'm gonna paint them. I might just paint these all red. I don't know about these yet. It depends on what page I end up using them on. But I got rid of quite a bit of stuff. Let me look at the other journals real quick first. So I think we saw most everything I did in these. So like I remember doing this little bit here. I don't know. I added one of the whoops, you can't see that, can you? Added one of the postcards here. Nordic pink. Hi, yeah. You have a little more time again. Well, that's okay. This is only the second time I've been back in like 2.5 years. The second stream I've done. So you didn't miss much. I think that was that pretty much. I put a little inchy here. I put these little inchies. You didn't see that. My goodness, I put one here. I put these here. Did I do anything else? Oh, I put a card here. This one I left so I could flip it over and either put something under it or something. So that was it. I think for most of this, yeah, I put these over here. This poor page. It was one of those that, you know, like no matter what you do, you're just frustrated with it. You know what I mean? That was one of those. I think that's it. Yeah, that's it for this one. That's the last page I did in here. Almost done with this journal. Only a few pages left even. On this one, I don't even think I did anything towards the beginning because this is mostly completed. I did work more on this page, just adding some collage and stuff. I did this one, and this is the danger for me for all this little stuff because I hate it. I hate all of it, but it's here now, so it's staying. And sometimes I really think like it ends up reflecting the page because this was the page that I did for a Patreon that night, and I was like, nah, with the face, like, you know, I didn't do any drawing, I just painted. And sometimes when you just paint like that, you know, you don't erase, and I wasn't, I was too busy talking than paying attention. Now this I did afterwards, and this, I'm getting this like really bright, weird light over on this side. Hang on a minute. Maybe that'll help. I just did the holes just freehand, no design or anything. At one point it was looking a bit star-like, and so I took the last of the ones I had and tried to fill it in a bit. But the way it feels amazing. I wish I'd had enough to cover the page, but I think what I'm gonna do is draw and paint something, and you know, make it flow into this. And then I thought I would hide this side. All right, let me get this out of the way because I feel like my camera is not, I move it when I'm not recording. I swing it off to the side because yay, my desk is set up properly finally. When I moved over to the apartment, or you know, from the apartment to here, I went out of my way to, it looks like it's tilted, but I think it's not. I think it's just the book is that thick. I went out of my way to get my desk set up the way I actually really like it. Anyway, I thought I would cover all this up, but I actually kind of like the way it feels and kind of how it looks. I don't know. Yeah, I think I'm going to keep it like that. I really like it. I might run some like gel medium over it just to encourage all of these little pokies to stay down. But I think I'm definitely going to, you know, it looks like a, I don't know, like a bird's nest or something. It looks like something. So I think I'm going to do something with it, but we'll see. So that got rid of a ton of them. And then I did spend some time during the week, this week, or since Saturday, going through and making it a point to add as much of that stuff as I could. So that little container of letters, they're just, I inherited a bunch of scrapbooking stuff. An artist who was a friend of my mom's gave my mom, when she passed away, she left all kinds of paint and stuff for me, you know, for my mom. And then my aunt passed away, and she left a ton of, she was huge into scrapbooking. She left a ton of scrapbooking stuff. So this was one of them. And I always forget that these are double-sided. So like, if you want the small letter, it's simply on the back. So I'm going through here and I'm picking them out, and I'm like, why am I only finding capitals? Because you know me, I like to do that sort of ransom note, you know, mixing capitals and lowercase letters, uppercase and lowercase. And it took me a hot minute to figure out that all I had to do was flip it over for the lowercase, which was embarrassing. So embarrassing. But anyway, so I added these on. This is another one of those cards. I basically put it here because it was purple and the page had purple in it. And yeah, I tried to find a page that had just a little purple so that I'm not, you know, getting too into that whole matchy thing, because I can get lost in that, kind of like when you know, go down a wormhole on the internet and you're like, how did I end up here? Yeah, that can happen to me with these little add-ons that are pre-made things, unless I'm careful. So, and then I also added some of these little things. These were also inherited at some point. from someone. Some of the stuff I get in like swaps and, you know, different things like that, especially if I do like a scrap swap or a D-stash or something. So I didn't add anything to any of these pages. I added this little thing here. It's a Christmas thing, don't care. I really used it just because of the two greens. The green fit it. And then I saw this. The cat lady has a dog, Everman. And I'm like, oh, that made me sad. Because we had just talked about him and all of that. I did a little stuff just doodling on here. I added that hooks and eye, hooks, eyes, and loops. My goodness, onto here. And like I thought, I did just put the whole thing down because it just, I like the overall vintage feel of that piece. And then I also added this little guy here. I added these. They're like foamy. I think they were supposed to be for Easter. Yeah. And then I put two of them here as well. Again, it's just getting rid of that stuff. And it seems to me when I'm doing scrappy pages, I added those. Whenever I'm working on scrappy style pages, I have a better chance of fitting things in. When I'm working in a more painterly style journal like this, I have a harder time with it. I don't know why. Psychological, probably. I added all these little gems to the page. I actually really super like how they look on here. Funny enough, I would actually maybe use those again because of that. I found 3 different buttons, so I put those on this page. And I kind of like that. I also added the flowers and stuff because it says flowers and forests. So the only problem is I just so happen to put them on a page that's like the most flimsy. This is just a single page of old, not even like, you know, strong, crisp, new paper, but old page. Oh no, it's a map. That's what it was. An old map. And it's real flimsy, but I also kind of don't want to make them permanent. So if I added something here, also it would cover up my notes or writing, and I don't want to do that. But I couldn't take them back out. So I'm just going to leave them like that and hope that they don't rip out of the book. I don't think they will. And I doubt I'll ever come back and take one out, but you never know. You never know. I didn't add anything here. I added, this was some of the sequin stuff. There were a couple of these really big gold ones, and I just used one of those fleur-de-lis, and that's another one of those postcards gone. I had a handful of these little blue brads, so I put them because those blue flowers were already there. Just did some journaling and doodling on here. I was just working on this one tonight, and I also ran across this stamp. I don't know where I got this from. I know I didn't buy it, but it's possible I traded with someone and this was in that, or it was given to me at some point, but I just started randomly adding them to the different pages. That's another thing that if you're not sure what to do, especially when you're working in, you know, what people would call junk journals, I call scrappy journals, specifically because of the way I make them out of scraps only. But if you're like not sure where to start or what to put down, you can just pick a thing, not like 10 stamps, but pick one you really like, especially one like this where it's, you know, flowers, and I tend to include or draw flowers all over the place, so it's bound to kind of fit in, and use an ink that's gonna, you know, work with your pages. So if your pages have no real black in them, you know, maybe use a different ink color. These pages for the most part have a lot of black, so it works fine. But then just, you can just go in and just randomly add it in, you know, 2s or 3s, whatever numbers you like. I did it again here. I also added just this little brad and this little gold piece. And I actually did like put a lot of this, or, you know, some additional, I don't know what to call it. It's not technically journaling, but it all is like, I won't say current events, but like sometimes it's current events, sometimes it's things from a book, sometimes it's just things I overhear or read or see, or, you know, like, or someone says to me, and I just for whatever reason, it sticks in my head. It can be anything from the combination of the words together. It can be the statement itself. You know, I feel it has a lot of truth, or conversely, I think it's a dumb statement. Or it can be, you know, that it's very witty or very current. And so I'll write it down. So like I heard someone say that mixed media was actually originated in the 1900s by Picasso. Did you know that? Did you know he was the first, at least according to that video that I was watching? Because, you know, you got to take everything with a grain of salt now. You really do. And research if you want to know for certain if something is a fact. Otherwise, take it as, you know, conversationally. But anyway, in that video I was watching, and I forget exactly what the video was. It could have been a painting video, could have been art, I don't remember. But anyway, they were showing that Pablo Picasso was the first artist who did mixed media art. I thought that was so cool. And then I was watching, I think, a video, and someone said, you know, that, oh, I know, I joined Zhao Hung Shu, I think is how you say it. I have to look it up again. Anyway, it's called Little Red Book, if you don't know what I'm talking about. It is the kind of like the Chinese equivalent of TikTok / Pinterest / Instagram. Anyway, it's a really cool app. You should check it out if you're interested. It's very clean and kind, and my idea of a place I would actually put my stuff compared to some of the types of apps that they and the morality that they push in the States. I'm obviously getting old, but I've always been this way, so it's not just my age. I prefer things that are more, you know, funny and all of that, but clean, to be honest. Just I like things that are, I like stuff to not be like sell, sex, murder. You know, like that stuff just gets on my nerves after a while, which like is every movie and every TV show, even sitcoms nowadays. But anyway, I was watching a video there. It was really cool video, and he said, create from a place of curiosity. Do not create from a technique base, or, you know, like worrying about perfection or worrying about outcome. None of that. Just always try to come from that viewpoint of being curious about stuff. And I love that because, you know, I think anyway, one of the reasons why my original Art Geeks was so popular at the time, and the reason why, to be honest, many of my classes had the following that they did, was because I was always pushing my knowledge, and by pushing my knowledge, pushing, you know, the knowledge of the people who were watching. Let's see. Hi, Sam. Yep, I remember Chile. Vancouver, Canada, my new fellow USian. Oh, I hope you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, and another thing too is, and this kind of ties into what I was saying when I said, you know, to be careful. People are so easily manipulated now. Like I happened upon a video, and someone was using a tarot app, and it was the first day of the new year, and the tarot card was the tarot card for renewal, and they were like, oh my gosh, you know, just, you know, like just took it on board that, you know, they were blessed with that card. And I'm like, you know, okay, the person who programmed that app and or wants, you know, people to use their app is obviously going to give you the card for renewal on the first day of the new year, because of course they are. You know what I mean? Like, we just need to be more aware I was unfortunately, living with my mom now. I didn't even have a TV. I got rid of my TV. I gave it to Madison to use as a monitor when Logan decided to yeet a stuffed animal across the room into their brand new fancy curved computer monitor and broke it. And my TV was a could be used as a monitor as well. So I gave it away to her probably it was when they first moved in, I think. So probably 2020 when they first moved into their new house. Anyway, I haven't had a TV all this time, and I have not missed it. But Mom watches the TV not 24/7, but the minute she wakes up until she goes to bed. Like, she has a TV in the living room, a TV in the bedroom. There's even a TV in here, although it's not been turned on since I've been here. The kids might turn it on when they come over. That's about it. But anyway, she has the news on all the time, it seems like. And every time I walk into the room, they're literally outright lying. They interview people who outright lie. And if you're on the internet and you're talking, you're communicating with people in other countries and stuff like that, you already know what's going on with them because they're telling you. And then I walk past the TV and this guy is just outright lying, and I'm just like, that's a lie. Like, it's straight up a lie. And no one, the person interviewing them, the person lying, the other people, no one says a word. And I'm just like, we've got to be smarter. We've got to be more aware. Like, turn off the TV. Don't believe that, the universe gave you, the card for renewal on the first, you know what I mean? Like, when you're using an app to pull the card. If you were pulling the card from a deck, in your hand, I would be like, cool. That's really cool. You got that card today. But this is an app. Of course it's going to give you that card. Duh. Anyway, so that's why I wrote, my fellow humans, try not to be so easily manipulated, because that's kind of how we're all in the boat we're in, is because we're becoming so easily manipulated. Anyway, another one of those Easter cards, I think that's the last one finally, or I use them all. So, and then again, these are Christmas cards. This one actually already had 2 of these little rhinestones on it, and it was missing one, and I had one left from that little sheet. So I was like, oh, perfect, and stuck it on there. Oh, and then the last thing, I used to always write this on the last page of my journals, so I just used those to do it. So that's it. That's all the tchotchkes that I've gone through. Like I said, I still want to paint those other brads and use them somehow. I wonder if I painted, what journal was that? This one. I wonder if I painted all of the red and purple ones red and added them in, or even better, maybe painted all of them but one, so left one red, and then painted all the rest of them black. As I don't think I have silver and gold and bronze and copper paint, because I don't know if you can tell, but they're all those different. It's not going to focus because I have it turned off, but they're all those different colors. I don't know, we'll see. I really liked the fact that I just did the hole punching without even, just like, I was looking, but I was going like really fast. And I like how, that sort of hint of like imperfectness of it. Like, on occasion you get some that are super close. I actually had one, I can't find it now, so I did a pretty good job mushing it down, but I had one that was like so close to the other one that they were overlapping, but I guess I mushed it down really good because I can't feel it now. So there's one here that I just saw that was kind of bent. A few of them were like that. They were bent funny. But yeah, I like the way it feels though. It feels super cool. But anyway, if I don't do that, adding the other ones, I'll probably draw a girl or something here, and go sort of like gray and dark, or it does not even have to be dark, but very monochromatic with it, and then maybe incorporate I don't think do I have silver watercolor? I do actually. Technically that is silver, isn't it? Yeah, so I could do that. That would be cool. I might do that. Folks lie as if we can't see with our own eyes. Yeah, or hear with our own ears. Hi, Michelle. Yeah, exactly. And I think part of it is that it's the reason why they want to ban TikTok is because they want to control that narrative. And at least here in the U.S., if everything is in their control, then they can openly just lie to us boldly. I mean, they're doing it already, but they can stop us from posting that's a lie or posting the truth. Do you know what I mean? And talking to each other. It's Orwellian. It really is. I mean, George Orwell was just kind of like, you know, I don't know. Sometimes I've read that, you know, he was trying to warn us, but I've also read that he and a lot of times that the case is because what's that cartoon, The Simpsons? Everyone's always talking about how like the Simpsons is so prophetic, but I think sometimes the truth is that some of them are trying to warn us because they know, and I think some of them are like, we're going to just boldly put this right in front of their face and laugh about it, like the Truman Show. Do you know what I mean? Like that they're just laughing at us. And then obviously many, especially Hollywood, many movies are just outright conditioning. Conditioning for what's coming. Like there's a huge rift between me and Logan. I can't even say skibbity toilet. And he'll get like, because I don't think he should watch it. I don't think he should play. I don't think he should have anything to do with it. I truly don't. And he does not agree with me at all. And I got him the other day, though, because I was like, Logan, did you hear that adult men are playing that game and that they think it's so cool? And he looked at me and he taught me a young people's phrase, which is sussy baha, which means suspicious behavior, sussy baha. I looked at him and I was like, that's sussy baha right there. And he's like, you know, because he's very, very intelligent, and he gets this look on his face like, But then Madison got mad at him for teaching me or trying to teach me more of their slang. She was like, what are you doing? That's an adult. Don't teach the adults our stuff. Just don't. I forget what she said. She used slang to say it, and I had to go look it up afterwards. But she was just like, you know, you're a rat. Stop, you know. Kids, I love the generation. Their generations, they're brilliant. They're smart kids. Unfortunately, they're also sort of, you know, just going along with it, and I hate that for them. But maybe they're just biding their time. That's my hope. My hope is they're just biding their time. I can't decide what page I want to work on. I think I'm going to go back to the one I was working on. This one needs help, and large part of the help is this right here. This was put here as I was constructing the page, so there were like this. You can imagine this paper is just like really thin writing paper. So, and it had, you know, just that one layer. So it was super wiggly. And I often will come in and layer another piece of paper, even if it's still also a thin paper, but just, you know, just doubling up and having the glue in between the two stiffens the paper up a bit so that it, you know, is not going to come apart on me. And I usually use matte medium or gel medium when I do that, by the way. But anyway, and now it's just sort of, you know, it's just stuck there. And then for some reason, I was so lazy when I was gluing down some of these things that why did I not cut, you know, I love these giraffes. I forget who sent me these. Was it Laura Kay or Linda? Anyway, someone sent me those giraffes. They have that giraffe stamp, and I absolutely love it. And I like this bird, I didn't cut him out either. I don't know what was going on with me when I was adding them. I did trim the bunny a little bit. I trimmed the butterfly. It must have been just like some I felt like trimming and some I didn't, because I didn't trim this. I trimmed one half of this, but not the other half. This one too, and that must have been like intentional, because here I understand why I did it, so that the the black wouldn't fade into the background. But I don't know. I think I was being kind of lazy. But just like with these animals, I'll just get a thing. Same thing with this stamp. I'll get a thing, whatever it is, and I'll just work through the pages. And that has a tendency to keep me from ending up with a book that I don't finish. And that brings me to my point, a teaching moment. I've been trying to kind of, like sneak peek into... I don't have the patience to watch a really long art journal video. I know that's terrible, right? For someone who makes long art journal videos, that's what hypocritical. Oh, Linda, and do you need more? I will always take more of those giraffes. Are you kidding me? My favorite thing. They're just so adorable. Oh, and these. And Xandra, I think you or Xandra sent me this. Oh my God. This reminds me of my, okay, first off, they remind me of some of my cats. My mom's cat, Cowboy, he's just a stray, I guess you would say, a feral that's just sort of showed up in her yard. And he's TNR'd already. Yay, whoever in my neighborhood, is also TNRing. I love you. Let's, if I knew who they were, I would hang out with them. Help them and share tips. But anyway, he gets this look on his face. It's just so cowboy. It was Xandra, yeah. It's just so cowboy, totally. But either way, this is probably, I've used 2 pages of it, or 2 sides of it already. I still have 2 to go. It's just the cutest damn thing ever. I'm going to do something fun or funny with it. Okay, so back to the teaching thing. Oh, that was Bella. I don't know if you heard her. Belle, are you talking to me again? Are you talking to me, Belle? You're all right, honey. She has an upset stomach. I can't tell what's going on with her, so I generally will isolate them, if I have one who's not feeling well. Mom's exercises, I have to keep track of them. Look at this one. Every time I tell her what that one is again, she's like, what do I have to do? But she happily does it. Okay, so I was watching a video, and this woman, without realizing what she was doing, she was, kind of like saying her unresolved issues with art journaling out loud during her video. And I was just like, if it had been a live video or something, I would have like totally been in there like talking, but I hesitate to do that. I probably shouldn't. That's probably silly of me. But I hesitate to do that because I don't want, like, I don't know who's friends with who and all that, and I don't want to be like jumping in and being all like, know-it-all, I guess. Anyway, so I figured I would just write it down and save it for my own video. But she was saying that she loves to make journals, but she'll only work in a couple of pages and then she doesn't finish them. And then she gets excited about making a different journal. And she also said, like she has situations where you're taking a class and there's a journal involved. I get that. That's a little different. But, and I say, if you make a journal for a class and you don't fill the journal because you finish the class and the journal's not full, go back and revisit all the lessons that you loved from that class, or all the lessons you struggled with, or all the lessons, that you were meh with your results on, and finish your journal that way. But in her case, specifically, my advice would be, if you really love making journals, and she makes beautiful journals, sell them. Many people want to have beautiful handmade artful journals, and they don't want to make them. They don't own all this tons of supplies for it. They don't have the space. They don't have the skill set. They're not interested in making journals. Sell them. You can also trade them for art. there are people who would do that. So that was one bit of advice I would give for that. Another one would be, she found that she lost interest in the journal after it was all bound and done. Like, she was like, it's done now. And then she didn't go back and do anything with it. So don't bind it. Work on the pages unbound. Even if you're, folding them and working this way, just clip them together. But work on it unbound. So, because binding it may be the thing that in your mind ends the journal for you. It ends the fascination and the excitement and the joy. It's like job done, and then you don't want to go back to it. So that is another thing. If you're having a hard time working in your journals, and you don't sell them or don't want to, or you really just want to work in journals and you need to build up, the habit of doing that, then work on the pages unbound. Save binding the journal for when you're done. That is the exact reason why I many times do not decorate the cover of the journal until it's done. Sometimes I don't do the inside page, the first page, until it's done. For me, I have slightly different reasons for that. My reasonings are, I often want the cover of the journal to reflect what's in the journal. In other words, the overall look and feel of the process of creating it. And sometimes you'll create the cover of a journal and then not finish that journal for a whole year, and you keep looking at the cover thinking, wow, that's outdated. Hold on. Just having some coffee. So yeah, maybe try not binding it and see if you will, retain that joy and excitement of it. And then the last thing would be, stop making journals and start working loose leaf. If you can't do those other two things, or they don't sort of, fix it for you, they don't get you there, they don't help, try just working loose leaf. I actually had sort of a different type of problem. I was very comfortable working in an altered book because that's where I started. I came from card making into altered books, then into art journals. Well, actually, into a whole bunch of mixed media, assemblage, ATCs, all kinds of art-related things, paper art-related things, and then eventually found my way into art journaling. And I actually found my way into art journaling because someone who saw one of my altered books was like, oh my gosh, your style looks like. And she referenced two different art journaling artists. I didn't even know any art journaling artists. So I'm like, who dat? I don't know. And so she told me their names and told me that they were art journal artists. So I went and looked up art journal artists and their names. And dude, I ended up making art journals too. But my problem was I didn't know how to work on a painting. So I would get it wasn't even canvas. Sadly enough, I would just get watercolor paper. And, I would tape it down because back then sorry, too much talking. Back then it was like, okay, you have to wet the paper. I followed all the rules. That's why I love art journaling. No rules. But you had to wet it, and then you had to tape it down and let it dry and all of that. And I would just sit there and look at it. I completely couldn't work on it. It was so precious and, and then I would try to draw on it, and, I would smudge it. I'd have to do a bunch of erasing. I wouldn't like the texture after that. I thought it was ruined. It was bad. And I had a similar issue really when I would buy, when I grew to the point where I was buying canvases. I would freeze up, and I actually did some of my first art journal / painting videos that I ever posted to YouTube was one where I posted about reusing your art. And that was because that was the first way I found to help get myself started, was I would draw on copy paper. And I had no fear of the copy paper. It wasn't fancy, it wasn't expensive, I wasn't going to ruin it. So I would draw on copy paper, and once I was, really happy and satisfied with it, and sometimes I would, that would take 2 or 3 pages before I got a drawing that I was really happy with. Then I would glue it down and then paint on it. And then you had all the problems with that. You got bubbles under it. So eventually I, gained the skills and the confidence and the knowledge, And, you know, now I have no problem painting on canvas. But when you have a something, you know, that you want to do and you're blocking yourself, sometimes it just figure out how to go around, over, and under yourself. You know what I mean? So that's my advice for those things. I just wanted to say that because, like, I saw that video and I didn't comment. I probably should have commented on the video, but I didn't because I don't want to be a know-it-all. But I thought, well, you know, other people who are watching my videos might have some of those issues, and I have lots of ideas to help. Okay, speaking of which, I want to do something with this, and I don't really have, this is a much warmer yellow, and this is a homemade off-white, which is this yellow and white. I think it's this yellow. Was this? Yeah, this was already white. So it was white acrylic paint and then this yellow. I don't think I have a lemon yellow. And the only other thing that I do have, and I think this might be dried up actually, is, benzodiazolone yellow light. But I don't know if there's even any in here anymore. A lot of my acrylic paints are like really old. Yeah, there's nothing in there. It's just taking up space in my little paint tray here. I have not bought art supplies other than things that my students send me and probably as long as it's been since I've done anything live. So 2.5 years. I just don't, I've bought so many things over the years that I didn't use, that I didn't like, that really wasn't a good fit. So I don't buy something unless it's really getting to me. Oh, I know what I will buy certain things. So for instance, like I bought these were originally the Bien Fang Speedball product, and oh my gosh, I think I bought these in like 2010 maybe, and I still use them. And so when Jane Davenport came out with hers, I can't reach them. They're oh, hang on. Okay, I got to them. Came out with hers, the very first, I think these are mermaid markers. The very first set, I've got those. And then recently, I think Linda got me the Pentel, it's all in Japanese, the Pentel brush set. Because I couldn't decide between inks or these, and I ended up getting these. So there are some things that, yes, I will buy, but it's almost inevitably sort of tried and true stuff. That tends to be the reason. Otherwise, I don't buy a lot of stuff. Yeah, this is totally a much warmer color. I definitely have a very lemon yellow in gouache, but I'm too lazy to get my gouache out. But this might help with this page a little, to make it less annoying to my eye. It's really bothersome, the way it was. So this should help a bit. I think I'm just going to get rid of that too. I like the polka dots, I do, but I'm okay with them just being like dull in the background. And I'll leave some of those lines showing, and then I'm going to use this to kind of break into here. And I like to do little things like, go ahead and follow the river, or whatever, the mountain edge or whatever. Little stuff like that to kind of, I don't know, like help it all sort of fit together or flow together. Can't always do that though, so like right here I can't do that. So I'll instead just cover up the part I wanted to keep. No. Oops. Something along those lines. It's not a perfect policy. You know, there's times where it doesn't work. That's fine. It's just something to try. It may not work for you. And again, when something doesn't work for you, don't do it. Simple as that. I also noticed something else. I've been noticing this for years and never mentioning it, but I'm going to mention it because I noticed it again when I was frolicking. When I was frolicking through YouTube, looking at different art journal videos, I noticed a lot of people doing things like deciding they're going to incorporate, oh, darn it. They're going to incorporate some pattern. So they'll grab a stencil, and I'm going to demonstrate it because I went and grabbed my stencils. I didn't grab everything, but I grabbed my stencil book. Although it's in pieces right now, I must have been doing something because I've taken it apart. So let me just find whatever stencil comes up. That's not good. I needed something that's going to be like a smaller pattern. This might work. This one will. Well, no. Yeah. Not really. Hold on. Yeah, this one will work. Fine. It'll work. I'll use it. So they'll come in and they'll be like, you know, first off, they'll do this where they have just like random pieces of paper glued down. They don't connect to each other. They're very like, you know, staggered. And then they'll come in and they'll go, you know, like this. They're going to incorporate, they're going to blend, they're going to make flow happen. And they'll just do like these little random bits. You know what I mean? And it's like, that doesn't really do it. Like that makes it worse because now you're compounding two problems. You've got all these random pieces of paper that aren't working, you know, like they don't connect, they don't flow, they're just stuck there. And now you've done the same thing with a stencil and paint. So here's my recommendation. Try, let me see what I can do here. Here we go. That one won't match, but it'll be fine. Try to do a larger area, right? Not just a small area, a much larger area than that. As well, run it off the page or something. Doesn't have to be running it off the page. If it's a large enough area, it's bold enough, it has presence in and of itself. I guess that's the thing. Like, it shouldn't be relegated, I guess is the way I'm thinking of it in my mind. I'm just trying to steal any wet paint that's still over here. It shouldn't be relegated to like second place. You know what I mean? Give it its own presence. Give it its own boldness. And I think people will find they have more cohesion and better flow than all these, like, and I've seen people do it with stamps too. You know, like they're like, I'm going to do stamps, and they're like, dink, 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 you know what I mean? And still nothing's flowing. Now you've got these random odd pieces of paper, you've got these little pattern marks, and now you've got these random, and none of it, no, it doesn't work. So, I mean, and you know, if you're happy with it and you love it, that's cool. I totally hear you. Good for you. But if you're wanting, because they'll say that, you know, I'm making it flow together. And I'm like, no, you're not making it flow together. It's a hot mess, and it's going to frustrate you in the end. And sure enough, in the end, they tend to then get out the white gesso and gesso around all, like I saw someone gessoing the edges of those pieces of paper. I'm like, okay, didn't help. It still doesn't flow. And now you just have white paint going around all your mismatched, randomly stuck down. I'm not trying to be harsh. I am just trying to be funny. I hope it comes across as funny and not harsh. But anyway, I think you get my point. Like, how do I explain it? You know, I know how to explain it, and this is going to sound weird, but it's a good way to explain it probably. If you have an enemy, maybe even it's just a pretend enemy, someone you hate watch or you're jealous of, you really like them but you're jealous or something like that, the last thing you should do is belittle them, right? Because if you do, then you give them power that you don't even realize that you're giving them, because you will underestimate that situation, that person, because you're sitting there thinking, you know, oh, nah, 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 and they're not being that way. They're looking at, you know, if they're to also see you as the enemy, you know, this has got to be a mutual war we're talking about here. It's not one-sided. They're going to be thinking of you as, you know, an enemy or something like that, with, you know, with a degree of respect. You're worthy, in other words, to be, you know, to catch their attention and get on their nerves or whatever. I can't try to come up with this war scenario. It's ridiculous. Anyway, you underestimate it. So it's the same thing with the things you're adding in. You're trying to bring cohesion. You're trying to make it fuller, have more depth, bring layering into it. But if all of it is kind of separate and disjointed, and you're not respecting it, honestly, like, I'm telling you to respect it, and that sounds strange, but really that's what it is. Respect that patterning that you're adding in. Give it its own presence. Give it the pieces of paper that you put down. You need to work them in. And you don't have to do it with paint. There's a million ways. Let me get rid of this brush. Another, you know, again, another way to kind of do that is, say for instance, I want to bring, let's bring orange, because we've got just this little bit of orange and a tiny bit here and this little bit here. Well, that's more sepia, but anyway, let's bring orange into it. And there's a ton of ways to do that that isn't just paint. Let me get an orange marker. Okay, a coral marker, because I love coral. So you can just write something, but do it with the color. I better not do that with that color, because that's not going to work. And so now I'm defeating my own argument here. Hold on. I'm finding an orange that I like. And I don't have my drawers. I rearranged the order of my drawers when I brought my set of drawers in here, my most favorite possession in my studio other than my desks. And I rearranged the order and rearranged my pens and pencils and markers and things, and I can't find anything now. I'll get it eventually. So I'm going to say, oh, that's not as bright as I thought it would be. What the what? Oh, I know, because I was thinking of a different marker. And I don't think that one, either I don't have it anymore or it doesn't have any paint in it. Respecting all the different elements that you add. I know it sounds weird to say it, but it actually makes it worth. I literally have the Aretha Franklin song going in my head when I stop for a second. R-E-S-P-E-C. Yep. Who's in here? Hi, M-E-M. Emmeline has come in here to see what I'm rambling, who I'm rambling to, I'm sure. Gives it a worthiness to be included into your page. It makes the effort that you're putting into adding it have a higher meaning, a validity. What is this? This is rose carmine. I really don't want that. Where is that orange? Let me see if I have that orange paint marker. I have used that thing to death, so it probably doesn't even exist anymore. But let me see if it exists or not. I did not go through every drawer. Some drawers I ignored, like this one. Oh, I do still have it. Look at that. Molotov. Anyway, it's the only Molotov except for a gold one. A gold one and this orange one. I got this when I did that Art Snacks. I think I did it for a couple of months. And then I decided I would rather just spend my money buying the supplies I wanted instead of the supplies they wanted me to have. Let me see if this has got anything in it. Let's testy. Let's fill in an area here. Let's see. No, it's dry as a bone. Ah, darn. See, I gotta do things differently in my life. I probably have an alcohol marker. I do. I have this. Nah, that's too light colored. Hold on. I am the pickiest woman. My goodness. No wonder my husband. I left my husband, so that doesn't work either. But no wonder they still hate me. That makes sense. I don't have an bright orange alcohol marker. Come on now. I bet you I do. I just don't know where it is. All right, well, forget orange. We're going with red. Because I can't find one. What's the bold end of this? All right, so now we are going to fill this in because I started to. This isn't bold either. Oh, it's dried out. Yeah. See, this is what happens when you don't use your art supplies for 2.5 years, practically. Everything dries out. So now it doesn't even look nice because I had to make a mess. Let's see if this end is mushed or not. Some of these, yeah, it's mushed. I am batting 1,000 right now. All right. One more try. Does this work? It does. Yay. And it's a good dark orange, which is what I wanted. Watch me use it all up on this little spot. And then it stops working and dries out before I can do my letters. Okay, so I think you get my point here. In regards to putting purpose, even if you're just making that purpose up, like I just did with the orange, frankly, like I just did with everything I've done tonight. Put intention, that's a good word, put intention behind it. And the reason I say that is it really helps to build that little bit of special, dare I say, reverence to what you're doing, so that even if someone else, came back in and looked at it, they might not look at it and think, wow, or anything, along those lines. But when you look back at it, you're going to immediately, notice that everything does flow a lot better. It does kind of all work together. And that's because you did it with intention. And even if you're not good at it per se or anything, even if you're new, in other words, you'll have that experience. You'll remember in your mind, oh, that's right. I really wanted to bring that together, and I was careful with, bringing in that patterning, and look at how, I like this about it, or I like that about it. It helps. It really does. It helps you want to do more, want to make more, want to come back, want to try again. And it gives it that something special that is, even if that is only, like I said, only in your head. Even if someone else looks at it and they don't appreciate the thought that you put into it, the respect that you gave each time you worked on a layer or a thing to incorporate it into it, even if they don't notice and don't appreciate it, you will, and that matters. Let me see here. I'm missing your word. Oh, thank you. Oh, it's coming across as funny. Yeah, I tend to be such a dork, And I don't even realize it. And then sometimes even when I listen back to it, I do laugh at myself because I'm kind of a dork. But that's okay because I'm happy being me. So do I not have an orange in the Pentel? I do, but there's matte medium over top of this. So what will happen? It'll go psh, and you won't be able to see it. And then I'll have to get the matte medium out. And no. Yes, I do though. It's actually right here. And it's a deeper color than that. It's a nicer orangey even than that. All right, so I'm going to add this on here because I only have this little guy in black, really, and just a few little things. So this will help, bringing this black in will help sort of move it around a bit. All right, and you know what? I think that is all the brilliant ideas I had to share. I don't know. I really wish, I guess, I want other people to really love art journaling. I get rather sad at times when I go on, which is probably one of the reasons why I don't ever go on anymore. But when I go on, for instance, like YouTube, and people are like, yeah, 5-minute art journaling, and I'm like, 5 minutes? In your whole day, you could only find 5 minutes for it, and you claim to love art journaling, but you only got 5 minutes for it? It depresses me. It's so sad. What is up with that? So, and you know, some of those people are probably just doing that, you know, because they need to make a video, and a 5-minute video is way easier for some people to handle, to do, you know, to create and upload and all that. So maybe that's why, or maybe there really are people out there who only can give 5 minutes. I don't know. If I only have 5 minutes, what's the point? I don't know. Anyway, I also really like to cut off. I didn't need this piece. You know, to cut off the edges. I don't know, to tuck flowers in, because that's what it feels like, the flowers tucked under. I super love that. So as you can see, I actually was using, I had a piece that was like on the edge, and I didn't want it to be a bad stamp, so I put this on here to stamp onto it. And then I was like, oh wow, that's stuck on there. I probably can wash it off, but it just reminds me of the process, so I'm leaving it. Okay, that is it for me for tonight. It's been an hour, as I said it would be. I hope you guys... Oh, does anyone have any comments or questions before I go? Before I do that, I will be here Saturday at, what did we decide? 7 to 7:30. I don't know. What do you think? Does that seem long enough? What do those of you that are here that are patrons think? Would you want to watch the live stream from 8 to 9? Or would that be too long of a night? An hour on YouTube and then switching over and an hour on Patreon? Because I can definitely go back and do a half an hour on YouTube and then an hour on Patreon. Hi, Elon. You're welcome. I'm glad to be here. Glad to see you guys. I've missed YouTube. I've missed art journaling with people, you know, hanging out and chatting and whatnot. We need a really excellent website where you can have just like the first 5 people that join, you know, can be on it. But things like Zoom and stuff like that, just not working for me. I just don't want to deal with it. Good night, everyone. Good night, Laura K. Okay, Linda, we'll try that. So on Saturday, we'll be on YouTube from 7 to 8, and then we'll jump over to Patreon for our lesson from 8 to 9. And if it ends up being too long of a night, then, you know, we can always switch it up the next time. And I think I'll keep Wednesdays for just YouTube at this point, and then we'll see how it goes from there. As obviously, I couldn't even do Wednesday this week. I had to do today because craziness. But that's my life. But at least we got better information, and I've got a slight change to mom's medication, and hopefully that will alleviate some of the issues that she's been struggling with. So it was worth it. All right, guys, I will see you. Take care. Everybody stay safe, and have a lot of hope, because the future will be bright eventually. Peace out.